Hello, so this is the answers and the stats video for the big quiz project that I did with hbomb. And if you haven't done it already and you're interested in trying out the project and quiz, the link for that will be in the pinned comment. So that will be just right down there, and you can give it a good check out. I recommend doing it, but if you don't want to, that's all right. I have all of the interesting stats up here. So this video was supposed to be out yesterday, but I got distracted in New York City for a day. I spent a good 8 hours in the Museum of Natural History, which was pretty nice. So now I'm here. Now I just finished it up and everything should be good. So the project went pretty well. I got a lot of cool stats. It was pretty interesting and just really enjoyable to make and review over the stats. But there's one thing that I'd like to note, and that's that the data really isn't fully accurate based on my findings. One thing here is that you can see some pictures of comments that come up. People didn't really sometimes watch the video that had the setup, so they were doing the quiz without looking at the setups, which I really find quite strange. I don't even know how you manage to do that. But yeah, so moving on to the questions, here you go. All right, so starting off with the general information, a majority of the people saw this from YouTube, and then looking at the skill level, we can see that the largest category in here is around 9, and then you can notice some extra stuff on the bottom. That's negligible in the data. That was just for the test group. And you can just kind of pause and see there. It's pretty well varied, to be honest. There were some groups that I made that just didn't really have a lot of maps or common maps, so some of them are a bit smaller than others. And then a majority is male, and then the other small section is female and other. So then this one was kind of interesting. What did people think they were going to get? And you can see that some of the groups are close, like the 11 to 25% is close, but generally people thought they did a bit better than they would. Not many people really claim to take the bottom level area, but I guess that's all right. It's kind of an interesting thing that I decided to bring up. And then lastly, moving on, we have the age, and most people are generally like 13 to 25, more like 13 to 19, and then some people a little bit older than that. Not really anybody too much older than that. And now on to the questions. All right, so to start off with the first question, this question is asking kind of what you need that will make it survive the longest, and if you know correctly, you will see that this needs Pierce, and the only option that really has a lot of that is going to be C, which is the big one. We can see that not really a lot of people got this one right, which is kind of surprising. I don't know why. That was one that I thought was easier. Then the second question, this is asking what you need to beat up to 92 and 93, and if you know your damage types and Apache Prime, then you know that the Heli needs the MIB to pop the DDTs. So the correct answer for that one was A, which a good amount of people got, 40%. The next one is also a bit easier. This is asking what added to the setup will beat round 82, and by far the strongest option here, especially on this map, is going to be the spiked mines. So the answer for that is C, and 67.8% got that right, which is pretty good. The next one, this one's a bit goofy, and it's also very narrow, but it's asking which will allow this to beat up to 54, and the answer for this is the wizard, and that's kind of because the stronger stimulant, when given only to the heli, really does not have that much benefit. And 43.6% got this right. I honestly thought a lot more people would pick stim, but that's pretty cool, I guess. So the answer for that one was C. And then this one is asking kind of what the best route for the Muddy early game is. So if you have played Muddy before, then you would know that it's this. I ended up making this question a bit easier, so a lot more people got this right. I kind of made some of the other ones like less vague, and I guess I should not have done that. But the next one here, question 6, is going to be asking what added will allow this to beat round 60, and the answer for that is ODS, because you really don't have that great of Moab damage here in ODS with the Moab missiles and all. Will come and make that pretty easy. So the answer for that one would have been A. And then going on to the next one, well, actually, we can see that a good chunk of people got this right, more than half. And then the next one, question 7. This is a trick question. I really should not have put this one in. I know I said I would not put trick questions in, but this one is ice shards, because there's nothing to pop the Camelot's on 59. And very few people got that right, only 18%. I bet like that was kind of mostly from guesses too. So yeah, that one was a bit of a trick question. But moving on to the next one, this setup does not have any round 100 damage, so you do need that Moab Eliminator, or else you are not going to beat round 100. So we can see that surprisingly, only 38% people got that right. I thought that more people would get that one right. This one, very few people got right. This is asking which added to the setup will make it win, and there's very little ceramic support in this. So the correct answer, actually, it was kind of narrow too, but the correct answer will be the balloon impacts. And we can see that, let's see which one, 2x balloon impact. So only 18.2% got this one right too, which was very, very low. The next one, this is really surprising. It's clearly going to be A, and surprisingly, like, not a lot of people got that. The bomb blitz is just, like, extremely strong. A lot of people thought that none of them would work for some reason. So yeah, a good chunk of people got it right, but not as much as I thought. That one was kind of easy. This one is going to be seeing how far it will be for this one dies, and it makes a regrowth farm on 76, so it dies there. Someone did point out that with like enough RNG that will actually beat 76, but most of the time that will die there. So then the next one here is going to be asking when does this die, and this does die on round 30, so the answer for that is going to be C. That's because the Sada ability will not be able to handle all of the leads there. So then, actually a good chunk of people got that right. I did not think as many people would get that one right. So the next one, question 13, this is going to be asking kind of how Muddy Puddles works. And if you know how Muddy Puddles works, you know that 97 comes out of there. This was like almost split every single way, so I guess not a whole lot of people knew what was going on, and the people that did know kind of got their quarter. The next one is going to be asking when does this die, and for some reason I do not have the winning setup, the picture or video of that, but I have marked it down as B is when it dies, so I guess you can go off of that. Then 15 is asking when does this die, and this setup just does not have enough power to take out the ZMG, so it's going to die on round 80, so half of people got that one right, which is pretty neat. When will this setup die? And this setup also is one that's going to suffer the fate of round 76. It's going to regrow farm up there, and so the spalls won't do anything to help clear it out. So a good chunk of people got that right. I did not think as many would get that one right. This one is supposed to be pretty easy. It's you kind of look at this and see there is no Moab damage right there, so it will die on 40. Good thing that most people got that one right, because that one is quite easy. So moving on to the next one, this is going to be asking when does this setup die, and the answer for this one is just going to be none of them, because it beats all of them, including round 90. There's well more than enough power, and good 50% of people got that one right. So then moving on, we have this one. This is kind of just asking if you know the early game to Dark Dungeons Chimps, which is an expert map. So I'm going to assume that literally expert people would be able to get that. And the correct answer is E, so only 10% of people got that right. That setup just can't even beat round 9. So moving on here. This one is asking if it beats, which round does it die to, and it dies to 98. There just is not enough power to get through that, and 64% got that right, which is actually pretty good. So the answer for that one was C. And then going on to the placements. This is asking which tax zone spot pretty much is better, and the upper one wins, the lower one dies. So it's set up 2, so B, and most people got that right, which is pretty nice. The first one, I did not make this, but it's about dart placements, and I'm assuming the answer for that is set up 4 because set up 4 is right because the top dart won't get the snipes that it needs because it's so close to the track. So the next one is basically placement, and it's asking which placement is better, and the third one just dies, so it's going to be B, which is setup 2 because that one just wins. So I was also kind of surprised with them. Actually, quite a lot of people, 60%, got this one right. And then moving on to some sub placements, 1 or 2. And this one should have been a bit easier, and it is 2 because you want to be placing the subs kind of away from the track. Not as many people got this one as I expected, which was kind of strange. But yeah, I guess. So then this one was also kind of strange because I thought more people would get this one right. It's going to be A, which is setup 1 because it's again placed back shooting into, and only 34% got this one right. A lot of people got tricked up with the both. I don't know why. This one, again, was kind of a trick question, but not really because it was just so easy. Clearly, this setup definitely doesn't have the power to beat round 99, so it just dies. And good thing a lot of people got that one right. So yeah, then the next one, we have some more placements. Asking which placement is going to be better for the setup generally, and you kind of want to push it back so that it gets that good coverage, which means that the second setup, I think it was, yeah, the second setup is the one that survives. And then onto this one, we have some placements on Bazaar, and if you know this map, you would know that you just want to place things in the middle, so that the answer is going to be B, setup 2. So 66% got that one right. The next one is super easy. Everybody should get this one right. It is going to be 1, obviously. Pretty much everybody, 89.2% got that one right. So that is pretty good, I guess. Hopefully you did not get that one wrong. The next one is going to be asking which setup is better, and it will be 2 because everything's just together. Everybody's going to be getting the pat buff. So 67% got that one right, which is pretty nice. And then this one, these are going to be real or fake. So this one is real. This is an old video of mine of permacharge Chinook. Let's see, did people get this one right? Surprisingly, no, I guess. But that's a geared run. This one is fake. There is no round 100 damage. So did people pick up on this one? Kind of split, but not really. This one right here, I guess people would think it is fake because there's so much stuff, but that's actually all affordable. So that one is real. Surprisingly, more people got that one right. It's a great mauler strategy. This next one is real. This is a old video of mine too. Azili Mob Domination. Unless people got this one right, it kind of does look like a fake setup, to be honest, but it is real. If you play Muddy, you would know that. And then this one is fake because there is way too much cash in there. You could never afford all of that. Surprisingly, not really people caught on to that, probably because it's kind of weird and I didn't really explain it that well. But let's go on to these next one. The place, no, not the placements, the when you're going to be affording it. So good chunk of people got that one right. The answer was indeed C. And then on 37, we're going to be looking for the Crossbow Master, and we're going to be buying that on 63. So most people got that one right too. That one was C. And then the next one is going to be Permacharge, starting from 75 with 25k, and we're going to be getting that on 79. That one was a bit easier. 50% of people got that one correct. And then the next one, this one was a little bit more tricky. This one we're going to be getting Spike Storm on here, And the answer for this one is going to be 93. It should be, yes, 93. Actually, like, it's still pretty good amount of people got that one right. I was expecting it to be a bit worse. And then the next one is going to be Prince of Darkness, and this one is going to be on round 55. So let's see how many people got that one right. We have, yep, C, so about 50%. Pretty good there. And then the next one is going to be on ability timing. So this one is going to be A, which is Sabo at the start and Firestorm later. This is because we're going to be using the, let's see, the Gwen MIB skip, and you're going to get the best efficiency and best probability of surviving if you do it in that order, because you slow everything down and then you Firestorm to get the heated up effect on everything. So most people got that one right. This one is for first strike timing. You'd want to use the assassins first and then first strike at the end. So good amount of people got that one right, and if you don't do that, you just die. So yeah, the answer for that one was B, so that's pretty good. And then the next one is going to be on geared. We're going to see how you beat the Moab, and the answer for this one is going to be A, which is Leaping Sword at the end. That's because you might know of the trick where you just Leaping Sword all of the ceramics in one good chunk. Even though I didn't time it right there, it still ended up working fine. So 80% got that right, which is pretty neat. A lot of people know that trick. And then the next one is going to be asking which tower you want out buff, and the correct answer for that is going to be D, which is the spiked balls. If you did not know, Alk buff works great with spiked balls. So 47% got that one right. And then the next one is also a little bit of a trick question, but I guess not really. It's going to be asking which towers you want Alk buff, and the answer is not the T-Rex, because T-Rex can't get Alk buff. I hope you know that. Seems like a good amount of people got that one right. I thought it would be a bit less though, so I guess you guys are good. This one is just free. Which tower do you Alk buff? It's A, the tax zone. There shouldn't really be any doubt among that. I think this was the most correct on one answer. 91.2% got that one right. Then the next one is going to be asking what do I put the elite defender on, and the answer is which is C, which is first. Not a lot of people got that really, because if you put it on strong or last, it's going to do that and create a ton of Moabs, and you are just going to die. But if you put it on first, you actually survive. So 34.7% got that right. Then the next one is just asking which flight pattern you need, and it's going to be, the answer is going to be A, which is figure infinite. That's because it's just in the same area most of the time. So most people got that one right, 77.5%. Best efficiency on a figure infinite. And the next one, these last two, surprisingly, like a lot of people did not get right for some reason. Level 7 Psi, if you're good, you know that this pops the ceramics, and you need that hero to pop the ceramics right there. Bam, you beat 40. Wow. So only 34.9% got that one right. Very, very surprising. I don't really know why. And then this last one is kind of free. You need Striker Jones to really make all of the bomb towers strong. I don't really know why people went not for Striker Jones. Less than 80%, I'd imagine that one to be like 90%. Now, with the answers and the explanations out of the way, the average score for the 950 result when I took this statistic was 52.6%, and by gender, at the end, so after 1,075 results, it's 52.9% for male, 52.5% for female, and 48.5% for other. And this is what the graph from a sample of 200 points looks like, with the darker red points being more dense. The blue point is the highest, which is Alk, got that score of, I think it was 82%, which is pretty cool, and then Scooch is right behind him. So yeah, this kind of is mixed. You can see the R squared value is 3.56, which really isn't that good, and that black line is the line of best fit. But one thing that I kind of noticed is that everything was kind of smushed around the middle there, and there's like tons of room for error, and it didn't really fully accurately represent that for a few reasons, and I'll go over that. Although the one thing that it did get correctly, kind of according to the data, was the ends. There's a significant notice that the better scores have their ends of it for the extreme values are pushed over to the side in each way, for the positive way for the higher level and the lower way for the lower level, which is kind of cool, I guess. But the big issue that I think came up with this is that this was really only suited for Chimps mode. So while somebody might be very good at the game, say at bosses, they might not really play Chimps mode, and therefore they'd be inserting a very low level into it. So like, say they only really beat an intermediate Chimps, that's very low, but they could possibly have like really high level boss gameplay, which I guess is a big issue and probably is relatable for a lot of players. Also, that and the system of black borders, well, highest map black bordered, really isn't accurate. Unfortunately, for what I'm looking for, there obviously is no perfect base test that will give us a number that we can compare to another number to end up getting our results. So automatically it's going to be skewed, but trying to close the gap is really what I was trying to do, and I thought it would work out pretty well, but not really. It didn't really work out as well as I thought it did, but it ended up doing pretty well, I guess. There definitely is a lot of salt to be taken with the scores, and generally I guess you could say that a better score would mean a better player, but there is a lot of room, and it really isn't as perfect as I wish it was. But other than that, it still was a pretty fun project. Let me know what you think about it. And finally, I will not be doing a third iteration of this, but if somebody else wants to, that would be fine.